Hey y'all, in this video for the filter challenge we are going to work with the blur and or the blur more. I'm going to go ahead, since they're very similar, and just show you both of them in this tutorial. And you can see here there's the blur and the blur more, and there's not a whole lot of uses for these because the blur is so subtle, and these are like from what I understand, the original blurs in the early versions of Photoshop, and they've just remained ever since. And then of course these are more advanced ones that they've added along the way. And so there's not a whole lot of use for these because they don't have any sliders or pop-ups. You just kind of run it. But I did use the blur more. Blur and blur more are the same. This one just blurs it a little bit more than that one. Did use that in making my snow. And as I said in the last tutorial, I also used the Crystallize to make my snow. And so it's going to be another use for the Crystallize filter in addition. But our focus is going to be on the blur more. And so I was excited to get this snow looking like I did. Let me turn off the little book down in the corner and dissect this a little bit for you, just let you see what I have in my layers. This was the top three were the little book in the corner, and in the background is well, I'm not sure what I'm turning off. I think that's just a dead layer. This one here, oh actually it wasn't a dead layer. Ha! Need that back. This is, I can't see it, but it's a copy of, I've got 3 layers of this in the background to make it brighter. Each time you have it, and I have it on color dodge and on screen for that one and on screen for that one, I had to play with it. And this top one here is actually only this section down here because I wanted to make the text down in here show up a little bit more. So all 3 of those are the word art. So I'm going to kind of knock those out. Now you can see where the word art was, there's less snow. The reason for that is because I did all this drawing on, these are the 2 snow layers on the thumbnails. You can see on the layer masks, you can see on the thumbnails of the layer masks, the black area is the photo. So I didn't want the snow all over the photo, and then the gray area is where I just let a little bit of the snow come through where all this word art was. So I lowered the opacity on my brush, and that's how I got the gray areas. So the photo, let's get rid of the snow. Ha! The photo, I have a layer mask I created on it to kind of have it blend into the background, and I have these 2 texture files that were copyright friendly that I found on the internet. And don't like that little red dot on there. Didn't notice that with all the snow. And so I have those 2 blending into each other because it made this perfect color, I thought, to go with their hair and the clothes. But I have this photo here, and you can see now that I've removed the snow, I was really excited about all the snow that got captured, because I think sometimes when you take photos in the snow, the snow doesn't show up. And actually I was excited because I took like 3 of these, and the other 2 they actually had snow on their faces, and somehow in this one, we have a nice big spot of snow on her hair. but not a whole lot on their faces, and of course a lot on the black. But I think what I want you to do is observe what this snow, real snow in a photo, looks like. This one's kind of bright, but it's a little bit oblong. Some of them are not. Some of them are more just little dots, but none of them are real clear. A lot of them are slightly blurred. Some of them are clearer than others. Depends on how much they're moving. And so when I was creating, here's some more snow here. The snow in my layout, I was actually observing what it looked like on here to try to make it the same size and a little bit more like it. You can see some of the snow is real small, some of it is some big, and so when you add my snow back in, there's all the small snow and there's the big snow. So let's learn how to make snow. So what we're going to do is, I'm just going to make it right above this layer. First, create a new layer, and I'm going to hit D on my keyboard to make my foreground and background color black and white, and I'm going to hit, I think it is Alt backspace, and I'm going to fill it with black. Of course, if you want to use the paint bucket tool or however you want, you can do so. Now the key to this, I think, is the next step. Don't forget to do this next step. Don't leave this out, and that is to change this to a screen blending mode. Now when we change this to a screen blending mode, whatever is black on this layer is going to become invisible. It's going to blend in, and so you can see it's like it's not there. So we can toggle it on and off and you don't see any difference. So I think it's important so that you can see how the final effect is going to be when you're moving the sliders and getting all the settings, to actually have this on screen ahead of time before you begin making all of the adjustments. So be sure to put that on screen. Next, we're going to add some noise. Filter, noise, add noise. Now this, see, automatically you can see is already putting this out here. You want the Gaussian blur and you want it to be monochromatic, because see, you don't want all this color in there. Snow doesn't have all that color. Monochromatic keeps it black and white, and so you can just move the sliders and kind of watch your photo and see what you think you might want. I mean, you go way up here and that might be way too much snow. Sometimes you gotta do this whole tutorial like I did several times and play with the different options. But I wanted a little less snow, and so I don't remember where I had it, down here around 31 or something like that, and click OK. Now it doesn't look like snow yet, but hang with us. We want to now use that blur more, and if we take off our background layer, you can kind of see what we got going on here. Let me undo. See, it was like this, and then we did the filter, blur, and blur more, and you can see what it did to that black layer. Before and after the blur more, so it just really blurred it out a lot. So next is an important step. I think that didn't show you how that blurred very well, because these keep coming back on when I go back and forth. But there you can see how it's blurred without all my background layer. Okay, that's why I paused. Now, next we need to do, this is a very important step. This is where it begins to come to life. I'm going to hit Control L, and I've got my levels adjustments. And now your hexagram is going to look different than mine depending on how much noise you added. But what I want to do now is to brighten the white and take it over just to where the hill is, and now you can see it's beginning to come alive over here on my photo. And then I want to take away the black, and I want to move it real, oh, you can see when I get real close to the white one over here, the closer I get, the fewer little white specks I have. And so you can have fewer little snow there, but I'm going to move it back because I liked having just a little bit more snow. So this is where it really begins to come to life, and where you really can determine how much snow you've got coming down. And then click OK. And next, I'm gonna try the blur more again. I don't remember what I did before. If you want to do motion blur, you can also do that. And you know, I've got a negative figure here, and so you kind of want the snow however you want, whatever angle you want it to be coming down at, and then the distance. See, if you do this, it blurs it too much. It almost looks like rain coming down now. So it just needs to be real subtle if you're going to be blurring it so it looks like it's really coming down. And now that I've got that, I'm going to go ahead, and this is my small snowflakes. Now what I want to do is add the large snowflakes. So I'm going to duplicate what I've got going on here, and you can see immediately when I duplicate it how cool it is. But I don't want the snowflakes in the exact same spot, and so I'm going to rotate this layer 180 degrees. And this is where the Crystallize filter comes in. So we're going to go to Filter, Pixelate, and Crystallize. Now when I did mine, I really played a lot. This is where you really can bring variety and uniqueness into your snowflakes. I think I had mine set around on 15, but let me show you what happens if, let's zoom way out. The larger you go, the larger your snowflakes. So you can make this, well, look how big that is when you go way up. You can make these pretty big, and let's hit OK. And I thought that this made such a cool effect. I actually really liked it that big. Really, really cool. But I hit undo, and I continued playing with it, and see what come down a little bit just so you can see the variety. And that was really, really cool too. I really thought that looked kind of like looking through a frosty window. Of course, for this to work, it works best you have to have a dark background, like I have this brown underneath. But you know, to me it wasn't realistic because I was eyeing the big snowflakes that were in the original photo because I wanted to make this look realistic. And so I went to do it again, and you know, I kept doing it, and I think as I showed, I ended up down here around 15. And now you can see that the big snowflakes, let's turn off the small ones, look very much similar in size. I'm not doing quite as well as I did with these here. I somehow don't have quite the same setting. But then you can right click on these and merge down, and then duplicate it, and it makes it all brighter. And see here, this is where I was adding my layer masks and drawing with my brush to let's up the opacity here to take this off of my original photo. I didn't want the snow on my original photo. I'm doing it really sloppy right now because I'm not going to save this. But I took the snow, and I was real careful to allow the snow to come in on the edges. So I didn't do very good at this. This snow doesn't look very realistic. So let's run through the steps again real quickly. I'm going to throw away, I'm going to throw away these 2 layers, and we're going to do it again, just quickly. So a new layer, fill it in black, important step, change it to screen, and I'm going to go to the filter, noise, add noise, and maybe I got too much noise. Maybe I didn't have as much noise last time. I'm going to bring it down. See, this is where I had to just keep playing and playing and playing. And so now that we have noise, the important step is the well, let's blur it. Blur more. The important step then is Control L, and I move this all the way over here and this all the way over here. I think this is kind of an important step. There, see, I have less snow than I had before. I think I might have accidentally moved the sliders when we were playing with it earlier. And so now that we've done that, I can add a little bit of motion blur to it if I want. Just ever so slightly, because I think the more, I might have had too much the last time. Because you see, even if I get it up just a little bit out here, you can't see it anymore. I think I might have even skipped this step, or I only did like 1. I don't remember what I did before. That's why you just got to come in here and play. And then we're going to make the big snowflakes. So now you can see the little snowflakes. We're going to do a Control J, and we're going to rotate it so they're not in the same spot. And then we're going to pixelate it with the Crystallize filter. I'm going to make them a little bigger. Aha! There's some good snow. Now we're starting to look more like before. You see, it's just a little bit of playing. I'm going to right click and merge down and then duplicate that. Wow, now I got the snow going on. Okay, see, I did better this time. And then the layer mask, took it out of their faces. And I wanted it coming in on the edges of the photo here, but I didn't want any of it on their faces, and I had to do this for both layers. I'm using Photoshop Elements 9, so you don't have to do the fake layer mask. You can use Grant's tools to add layer masks too, real easy if you're in the earlier versions. Okay, now we're starting to look just like before. And if this is too much on this one, you can lower the opacity some. So I'm going to go ahead and delete these and then show you one more time what the final layout looked like the first time. And it looks, I think, realistic. See, I have some of the snow coming up, the added snow here. And it's coming into the edges of the photo over here. But out here in the middle, this is all the natural snow from the photos. So, there we go. I hope you have fun. As I said, there's not a whole lot of uses for the blur more, but this was one great use that I found, because it just needed to be blurred just an ever so slight amount because the way the snow is here. You see the original snow and the real photo being blurred. Anyway, have fun. I look forward to seeing what you all can do with this. You may want to not mask out the stuff on the photo and have snow on a photo that didn't have natural snow in it. Or you might want to take a snow photo and make it even snowier. There's so many different things you can do. It almost looks like a starry night, maybe. You could even take it in a different way rather than snow. I'll be seeing you around the forum, and I hope you're having fun.